Good day, Prof. and classmates. As a recap, the first part of this course has discussed the foundations of leadership, different leadership skills, and critical leadership competencies. On part 2, we will be discussing the principles about learning leadership skills and dealing with change. In this report, we will be discussing three subtopics as follows. First, leadership skills. Second, hard versus soft skills. And third, interpersonal skills. The first subtopic is learning leadership skills, and we'll discuss the following sub-items. What are leadership skills? Who needs leadership skills, and how to improve leadership skills? What are leadership skills? Leadership skills can be described as follows. First, skills used when organizing other people to reach a shared goal. Second, skills that allows us to motivate others. Third, it is not just one skill, but a combination of several different skills working together. Next, who needs leadership skills? Most of the people can benefit from developing leadership skills regardless of their professional roles. These skills are essential for 1. Early career professionals. Ito yung professionals looking for better opportunities and career advancement. Developing leadership skills and demonstrating leadership potential in the early stage will help one to be prepared for more senior or higher role. Second, newly promoted leaders. Developing leadership skills can enable them to perform their duties more effectively. Third, startup leaders. A good example are those who are starting up their own business and promoting their brand in the market. The startup success is based on the productivity of team and development of winning strategies. Next, tips to improve leadership skills. 1. Identify your leadership style. Knowing your own leadership style and refining specific skills would be beneficial for your team or project. 2. Find resources about leadership. Doing self-study like reading books, listening to podcasts, or video workshop on leadership will help to gain understanding on the principles on how to develop and improve leadership skills. 3. Participate in leadership training courses or workshops. Depending on the schedule, one may opt for in-person or avail online courses. 4. Find leadership activities outside of work. Example, taking lead in organizing activities or work outings. 5. Study leadership styles you admire. Taking note of the specific qualities na we admire sa leader that we aspire to be na maaari natin i-apply and i-enhance pa yung qualities na yon sa ating work. 6. Find a mentor. Ika nga, the best way to learn is to study under leaders that we admire most. For example, we may inquire if he or she accepts mentorship. Otherwise, pwede natin i-offer yung services natin sa kanya for free in a specific amount of time so as to learn on how he or she does things in the field that we are interested in. The second subtopic is about hard skills versus soft skills. Hard skills can be defined as specific competencies, technical abilities required to do the job, typically acquired through education and experience. While soft skills is a combination of people skills, social skills, communication skills, emotional intelligence, and personality traits. Next, for the differences, hard skills are usually tangible and measurable and uses the logic center of the brain and is IQ dependent. While soft skills are intangible and hard to measure, personality-based and highly subjective, uses the emotional center of the brain and EQ dependent. Examples sa hard skills versus sa foreign language skills, if your work is interpreter or translator. Coding ability, pag programmer ka naman. Statistical analysis and data mining, if you are a data scientist. Cloud computing, kung ikaw ay cloud security analyst. And financial planning, if you are a financial advisor or agent. Well, examples for soft skills are as follows: communication skills, adaptability, critical thinking, time management, creativity, leadership skills, and empathy. Next, the third subtopic is interpersonal skills, and we'll discuss the following sub-items: communicating effectively and conflict resolution. Next is interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills are traits that we use to successfully interact with and communicate with others. It is often called as people skills. These skills tend to incorporate both our innate personality traits and how we learn to handle certain social situations. So why interpersonal skills are important? Strong interpersonal skills can help during the job interview process as interviewers look for applicants who can work well with others. This will also help an individual succeed in almost any job by helping to understand other people and adjusting one's approach to work together effectively. The first interpersonal skill is communicating effectively. As quoted by Dr. William Robinson, president of Whitworth College in Spokane, effective communication may be the most basic requirement of the 21st century leader. There are some key techniques that can be used to improve communication. Probably the most important of these is the ability to listen. First, i-define po muna natin yung hearing at listening. Hearing is the ability to perceive sounds by receiving vibrations to the ear. Example ito yung background sound sa environment natin like bubog ng tricycle, walang aso, etc. While yung listening is done consciously, ito yung ina-absorb natin or iniintindi natin yung mga words na naririnig natin. Under ng communicate effectively, yung effective listening. Effective listening can be defined as a very important communication skill that can be learned. It allows us to actively understand the information or message provided by the person speaking. There are four basic types of listening. First, yung inactive listening. It is when you only hear the words papasok sa unang tenga tapos lalabas sa kabila tenga. Second is selective listening. Most common kind of listening. It is when you hear only what you want to hear and filter the message. Third is active listening. It demands the listener's full attention and requires listeners to use body language and responses that demonstrate their consideration and full understanding of what the speaker is communicating. Active listening is used for casual conversation, either personal or professional setting, wherein yung information ay retained and nauunawaan na maaari din nating i-discuss or explain sa ibang tao. Fourth is reflective listening. It encompasses all that is active listening is and goes a step further. The listener pays special attention to the content, feelings, and meaning behind the message and reflects back to the speaker to demonstrate understanding and clarify the message. Also, reflective listening is more intimate and more appropriate between family, close relatives and friends, or in a therapeutic setting between a therapist and a client. Next, three basic levels of reflective listening. 1. Repeating or rephrasing. Ito yung inuulit yung sinasabi ng speaker, not verbatim, and gumagamit ng similar words or phrases. 2. Paraphrasing. The listener recalls or restates yung pagkakaintindi niya sa sinabi ng speaker. 3. Reflection or feeling. May be considered the deepest form of listening. It emphasizes emotional aspects of communication through statements involving feeling. Example nito, when we talk to an irate client personally or through phone, example, issue sa delayed processing of benefits, we empathize with them and talk to them in a calm manner and offer assistance such as yung coordination with concerned units, on the processing of their claims to pacify their anger or dissatisfaction. In my opinion, I think we can only mirror or relate and acknowledge the feelings of others if we have experienced the same event or scenario in our life, or we can genuinely relate or sympathize or empathize with the speaker. We cannot say words such as and how you feel, etc. when we don't really mean it. Hence, we should always say what we mean since the speaker may feel the insincerity on our words. Tips on how to acquire effective listening skills. First, face the speaker and maintain eye contact. Second, be attentive but relax. Here, be focused on the message and be prepared to listen. Third, keep an open mind. Ito, makinig tayo without being judgmental or mentally criticizing the speaker. And don't jump to conclusions. Fourth, listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. Fifth, don't interrupt. Don't be a sentence grabber. 6. Don't impose your solutions. We should refrain from suggesting solutions unless we are asked directly for an advice. 7. Wait for the speaker to pause to ask clarifying questions. 8. Ask questions and make comments only to ensure understanding. 9. Try to feel what the speaker is feeling. Putting ourselves on the speaker's shoe would help us understand their feelings and actions. This is where empathy comes into play. Empathy can be defined as the heart and soul of good listening. 10. Give the speaker regular feedback. As a key takeaway, good listening requires preparation, concentration, and reflection. The concern here is to emphasize the importance of good interpersonal communication, which is a key skill that any leader needs to have. Next is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is defined as the act of conveying information without the use of words. For example, this might involve using certain facial expressions or hand gestures to make a specific point, or it could involve the use or non-use of eye contact and other non-verbal cues to get a message across. Non-verbal cues can improve or obstruct the listening process. An open cue shows a receptive listener, sila yung handa or open makinig, and a closed cue shows a poor listener. In the figure below, we can see 7 examples of non-verbal cues such as yung tone of voice, facial expressions, eye contact, touching, gestures, spatial distance, and stance. And we can identify what kind of a listener a person is based on their open cues or closed cues. Next is empathy. An effective communicator is someone who has real empathy for those being communicated with. As Carl Rogers defines empathy as seeing the expressed idea from the other person's point of view to sense how it feels to him. Here, yung empathic listening, hindi siya madali since mostly hindi natin gusto na tignan or i-acknowledge yung point of view ng iba. Madalas kasi gusto natin yung perspective lang natin. Meron tayong assumption na i-feel it ourselves to see yung point of view ng iba, matatakot tayo or we feel threatened na mababago tayo yung attitudes natin or at values natin. However, empathy and the willingness to change one's perspective is a key characteristic of an effective leader. The second interpersonal skill is conflict resolution. The reality of conflict in a professional setting is inevitable. To be an effective leader, one must be able to differentiate between conflict that will boost productivity and build stronger teams and conflict that will decrease output and hinder teamwork. Clearly, the challenge of good leadership is to resolve conflict and channel it into positive competition and collaboration. As demonstrated in this graph, reaction to conflict can vary significantly as follows. 1 is fighting or confrontation, In the process of fighting, both parties are likely to get angry with each other. Even if one wins, the other will suffer a resentful loss. This is never a satisfactory way to solve problems. Another is avoidance. Many people attempt to resolve conflict through avoidance. If things get too uncomfortable, they let the other party have its way. Another is dominating. People with dominating personality don't tolerate others disagreeing with them. This type of power person wants to win at almost any cost, regardless of the method he or she will use. Next is litigation or adjudicating. This reaction to conflict is becoming increasingly popular in the present. When a problem arises, a person in conflict hires a lawyer and takes the case or conflict to court. However, litigation results usually in an unhappy settlement for one or maybe both of the parties involved. Last is negotiation, probably the most effective and sustainable means for solving conflict. This will be further discussed by the next reporter in our group. As key takeaway, given that conflict is unavoidable of a personal man or within organizations, leaders need to have an effective skill for dealing with it in a way that improves a personal or work situation. The desired outcome is a satisfactory resolution or minimization of the conflict or disagreement. Additionally, the role of leadership is to facilitate the acquisition of conflict resolution skills among all the members of the organization, since a commitment to positive conflict resolution should be at the core of the organization's culture. Next, guidelines in managing conflict. Make sure that good relationships are the first priority. Make conflict resolution the priority rather than winning or being right. Keep people and problems separate. Listen for what is felt as well as said. Set out facts. Another, focus on the present. Pick your battles. Explore options together. Be willing to forgive and know when to let something go. Next, 6 steps in problem-solving approach. First, step 1, set the scene. Resolution process begins with a discussion to understand both sides of the problem or issue. Step 2, gather information. Ask for the other person or party his or her viewpoint. In this process, it's important to focus on work issue and leave personalities out of the discussion. Step 3, agree on the problem. Conflict should be identified clearly and concisely, and understand what the other person is trying to see as the problem. Step 4. Brainstorm possible solutions. The goal is to have a number of ideas or solutions generated at this step rather than the quality of those ideas. Step 5. Evaluate the alternatives. Each solutions or ideas proposed should be analyzed while considering the pros and cons of each solutions, until the list is narrowed down to one or two best ways of handling the conflict or problem. Step 6. Negotiate a solution. By this stage, the conflict may be resolved and both sides may have better understand the position of the other, and a mutually satisfactory solution may be clear to all. Next is benefits of resolving conflict. By resolving conflict successfully, we can solve other interrelated problems it has brought, and as well as getting benefits that we have not expected at first. 1. Increase understanding. Discussion involved on the resolution of conflict have expanded people's awareness of the situation. Next is increased group cohesion or unity. When a conflict is resolved efficiently, team members or parties involved develop mutual respect and renewed faith or perspective in their ability to work together with a team. Third is improve self-knowledge. Conflict resolution pushes people to examine self, develop self-awareness, and understanding things that are valuable to them, hence enhancing own effectiveness. Last, increase levels of trust. When a conflict is resolved in a relationship, it nurtures trust. When a relationship, example in a team, is built on trust, it can withstand challenges and disagreements in the future as well. And that ends my presentation. Thank you.